Welcome to the Qualitalks podcast. I'm Jan Kugel, your host, and my guest today is Ammar Badwy. Ammar is the CEO of Pharmaoffer, a company that offers a platform for easy source of materials for the pharma industry. So let's talk to Ammar and see how his platform helps the pharma industry, how it helps with the qualification on material, and how he came out with the idea and so on. So Ammar, welcome.
Yes, thank you, Jan.
It's I'm happy to have you on the show, and I find your platform really cool because I think it really helps companies to find the material, because the market is so huge and sometimes it's difficult to find the right material. And I found that your website is really easy to use. So it's like a state-of-the-art platform that is easy to use. And because I worked a lot with supplier management, I know how difficult it is to find the right supplier, to get all the documents and qualified and with the right communication and so on. And it would be nice to hear if how your platform helps with this and how you came to it and so on. So maybe you can tell a bit about yourself and a bit about the services.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm happy to be here, and it's also good to hear that you like our platform, because in the first place, for people like you and for purchasers, that was the reason why we built Pharmaoffer.
Yeah. So I must say that I never used it for the from start to end, but I played it with it. I stumbled upon it, and it was really interesting for me. So just for a total disclosure, I didn't use it from A to Z. And that's why I really wanted to talk to you and really to find out how the experience is.
Yeah. Well, let me start from the beginning, because I was working for a company, a pharmaceutical company, was buying APIs and excipients for the Dutch market. And I was working there on the sales marketing department, and we get a lot of questions from our clients, Dutch hospitals, pharmacies, who were looking for a specific API. And from there, I know how hard it is to find the specific product, not particularly the product, but find the well-qualified supplier. At that point we thought, can we build a platform who can make it easier, just inspired by companies like Airbnb or Uber, Amazon, just what they did to the market, the benefits they brought. Can we do the same for the API market? So there was a huge challenge in 2016 where we came up with the idea and built the prototype. And the struggle that we had was around the qualifications. It's not so hard to come up with a list of available suppliers who are selling a particular product, but what's so relevant in this market is what's the difference between those suppliers. Because when you use it for, like if you want to register the product, then you need other certificates than if you just want it for compounding, for example. So that was the problem that we wanted to solve, that you can see instantly after searching for a product, all available suppliers, and then that you can use filters to select only the relevant suppliers to you. So that was the idea when we started Pharmaoffer.
Just to make it as easy as possible for the consumers or the companies to find the right company for them from the search. And up until then, there was no company that offered the same easy use.
We are one of the first platforms that are doing this, and but we are not a search engine. We are a platform, like a marketplace. So we have to deal with both parties. We wanted to create a place where a buyer can find a supplier and also contact the supplier. And then both can talk with each other, exchange documents, and in the end also place the order. So we wanted to facilitate the entire order process. And in the beginning, it was actually quite hard because as a platform, you have those both parties. And so, yeah, I still remember that we built the platform.
And then probably you need first to bring all the suppliers to play ball with you and input their information. So do they do it themselves, or they send all the information to you and you input it into your platform?
Yeah, in both ways actually. So we, what we really want is a really user-friendly, easy-to-use platform. So it doesn't matter whether you're the buyer or the supplier. We want that everything is very clear and that you don't need a course or something to understand how it works. So it is quite easy for suppliers to add their products, upload certificates, set their minimum order quantity, things like that. But we also help suppliers with that because some, they just prefer that we are doing it for them, setting up everything right. And what we like is that when we do it, it's easier for us to make sure that the information is correct. We also check everything. So we use some databases, like the GMP database, FDA, and that's where we also check whether this company really have those certificates. We want to see everything. So that's a really important part. If you want to really make a difference in this market, then you have to take quality very serious, because that's the difference between us and, for example, some chemical platforms.
So you don't do audits on a site?
No.
You just say, but you check the documents and you check the background of the companies.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that you also have on your website, you can see for each supplier what documents he can provide. And I find it really cool because when you want to find the right supplier, so we're talking from the quality perspective. So for example, usually for procurement, for them it doesn't matter, they see a material name and it's good for them, but for the quality it's important that they have very specific documents that are very specific to the manufacturing type. So for some of them you need some virological tests. Sometimes ISO is not enough, and sometimes they have to be GMP qualified. Sometimes they must have a TSE certificate and so on. And sometimes it takes so much time to find the right supplier that has everything. And when you can see it, you can just filter by it. It just makes life much easier.
Yeah. So that was something that we had to provide in order if we want to make any difference. Then that was the most important part. If you need GMP certificate of suitability, in case if it's outside Europe, then you probably need a written confirmation. Depends on the country, of course, but you can just have it now in a few clicks and you see it immediately. And what we really like is that take someone from the street, not from the pharmaceutical industry at all, and with Pharmaoffer, he has a larger network already than most purchase departments. So, and I also really believe it's important for everyone in the world. If we make it easier to find a raw material, then it's also easier to produce a medicine. And there are lots of companies who are buying an API or an excipient from a supplier for years. They don't look at the price. They don't look at the service. They are just happy that they have a qualified supplier, and that's it. They don't want to change at all, which is completely fine for me. But I'm quite confident that the only reason why they don't want to change is because it takes so much time, and there are chances that after a couple of months that talking with a new supplier, that in the end you have to start all over again because the supplier doesn't get approved by the quality department. So
exactly.
I really think that we can win something there if we digitize the market.
Yeah, so that way you give a lot of options. You probably can contact the suppliers through the platform, and probably most of them you can ask for some samples, and that way you can also just approach several suppliers at once, ask for samples, check it, and find suitable main suppliers, secondary, third suppliers.
Yeah. Something that we are very strict on is that we have enabled the possibility to send inquiries just to all suppliers, because we think that's not how it works in our market. You have to select only the right supplier for you, and then you can send an inquiry to them, but you also have to provide enough information for the supplier in order to answer you with everything you need.
So do you approve each request?
Well, we approve new buyers. So we check whether it's a pharmaceutical company, everything. Only after approval, the supplier will receive their inquiry.
Okay, makes sense. So you get them to get approved once to make sure they're a legit company and not somebody that just wants statistics and just contact or spam the company. So you make sure that both sides are protected in this way.
Yeah, and that's something also important to us, that we want to. We don't want to bother the suppliers on our platform with irrelevant inquiries. So that's also why we ask a lot from our buyers. We don't want to waste the time from our suppliers as well as our buyers. So but that's working out very well actually right now.
Okay, I'm happy for that, because probably as a platform the start is never easy.
Yeah, definitely. The start wasn't easy. Like I said in the beginning, we had a finished platform but without users, and for a supplier, if there are no buyers, they're not really willing to offer their products on our platform. And on the other side, it's not interesting to buyers if they can't find any suppliers. So the beginning, and I guess that's for all platforms, the beginning was really hard. The first 2 years, we focused on building the platform, talking a lot with suppliers. We called them, we emailed them, we visit them, went to exhibitions, just everything in order to find those early adapters who wanted to give it a try. And after a while, we had a very useful database, and now you can find actually all relevant suppliers who are available. I would like to talk a little bit about the data. What we just saw, and that's something what's really new with Pharmaoffer, that a couple of hours ago we saw a huge increase of thousands of people who are searching only for dexamethasone. So we were checking it with our team. Why is everybody looking for dexamethasone? And so we were checking, and then we saw just that a couple of minutes ago that there was a release of an for research from the Oxford University of dexamethasone being a potential vaccine against, or potential drug against coronavirus. And I think that's very cool. We saw it earlier also with hydroxychloroquine. That
now everybody's searching for it.
Yeah. We saw the interview of President Trump, who were saying that he's using hydroxychloroquine because, what do I have to lose? Something like that. And then we saw thousands of people who were searching for that product really everywhere in the world. Of course, it's fun. We are really using our data very confidential, but it can give a lot of interesting insights. We have about 20,000 visitors, unique visitors per month, and it's growing with 13% each month. And that's, in my opinion, also really valuable that we have a source now who can, with a lot of information, so we can see where in the world is a huge demand for a specific API, or where is a shortage of an API. But also, it's easier to find out now for which APIs there are too few suppliers available. Because maybe there are a few APIs that there are produced by only one or two companies, and that's a risk for the global population. So I also think that data can help us a lot in making the pharmaceutical industry also better and more safe for all countries in the world.
Yeah. So do you share this data?
No, we don't share this data, but we do analyze a lot. First of all, because we want to improve our process, but and we want to keep everything confidential, which is confidential. So, for example, conversations between a buyer and a supplier. But I can imagine that there are some really useful insights for, let's say, the World Health Organization or the EDQM.
So how can you use this data potentially to help the industry?
I think it would be easier to find shortages, and it would also be easier to, and that's something that we're doing right now already, to connect people with each other to. Like if someone is searching for a product and they can't find it, then we connect them with a party from a country that they don't know yet. So, but
so do you do it actively? So if you see some shortage, so you want it pops up and you say, okay, we can manually, we can just be proactive and just connect those people.
Yeah, we act a lot of proactive. Of course, we want that the system can do everything, but sometimes it's better to just help people, call them or email them. Okay, this is what's going on, and so that's an approach that we are using right now. But then we can check. Okay, can we develop something to automate the process?
So, for example, if something is in demand, or for example, if there are news, so there will be some pop-up that says, okay, those are, it will automatically show you, okay, you're probably looking for those and those suppliers, so to help people to understand what they need.
Yeah.
So depending on news or depending on some events.
Yeah, and but sometimes a problem can also be solved while looking at the intermediates to produce the API. That's something that we're discovering right now. Can we do more in intermediates and predict things, or help connect companies with each other? I think there's a lot to win also there. But for us, data is really valuable. It helps us decide where we have to build new things, which strategy we have to choose. That's a really positive thing of digital tools, that you can use your data in a way which is, of course, responsible, but also helpful to increase your or to make your service better.
Yeah, exactly. I think Google use it a lot also to provide. I think people don't understand how much Google really makes life easier, because they think, okay, they steal our information, but our life became much more easier. So I think people should feel more free to share information, because in the end, the companies actually make money by
by you.
providing you
Yeah.
good service. If the service is not good, they won't make any money. So it's an exchange.
But if something is free, then you always know that you are paying with your privacy.
That's how it is, but you need to decide. You want to use a free email account and a free platform, so you pay with looking at ads and sharing information.
Yeah, just saying what our platform is free for buyers, but you're not paying with your privacy, because in case of an order, then the supplier is paying our service fee. So
the supplier.
Yeah. So we decided to keep everything free on our platform. So you can search for suppliers, contact them, communicate with them, everything. And in case of an order, then we charge 3% to the supplier.
Okay. So just a quick question about qualification. So from the quality point of view, so how does your platform really help in this action?
Well, first, like I said, we check who is the buyer in case of an inquiry, because we don't want to bother suppliers with irrelevant inquiries. So we check who is the person, what's the company address, company website, etc. But in case of an order, we check from the supplier if their certificates are valid, if they really have them. We check if they have a pharmacist, what the name, the phone number. We check some things just to be sure that everything is all right. But we also check their bank account. We want to be sure that their bank account is from that company, because we don't want to. We collect the money from the buyer, and after delivery, we pay out the supplier, but we don't want to pay out to a personal bank account, for example. So these are
just check what bank it is, or you have some research that you do really to see. So you call the bank and make sure that those are real accounts or
no.
Accounts?
Well, we have some tools that we check. We ask for a bank statement and a copy of the passport of the UBO. So there are some things and we're working together with a payment service provider, and that's their usual business. So they know also how it works. So the quality part and the financial part, those are important. And in case of a narcotic, we also check if both parties are allowed to trade in narcotics. In the end, we are not a party in the deal. We connect both parties together. They are doing business between both parties. We just only operate as a payment provider in the end. So that's also something that the supplier and the buyer likes the most, because then they can have a contract together. We also believe that it's better to not have a lot of parties within the order in case of first, because it makes it more expensive if you have a lot of traders. Sometimes there are 3, 4, or 5 traders involved in one order. It makes it really expensive, especially when a party is only connecting both parties with each other and that's it. There are also traders, of course, who are really providing additional service like analyzing or repacking or other importing or keeping stock, things like that. But there are also a lot of traders who are just connecting both parties and want to collect money. And those parties make the order really expensive. But also, I think it's not good when, for example, in case of a recall, when it has to go through a lot of parties, the communications and doesn't bring any benefit. So that's also why the order on Pharmaoffer is between the buyer and supplier. We just facilitate the process. That's it.
Was it difficult to build trust at first?
Yeah, I think so. But the good thing is that most people who are coming to our platform, then I talk about buyers, they have found us. So that makes it already a little bit easier to trust us than when we go to people in order to ask them to use our platform. But yeah, we offer also, in case of an order, we offer also a guarantee. And now we see that the number one reason for buyers and suppliers of using our platform for orders is they like the guarantee. It means that when a buyer doesn't get their shipment, then we do full refund of their money, of their payment.
You do the guarantee, and they don't have to count on the supplier.
Yeah, because we really want that new parties are doing business with each other, and sometimes it's a bit scary when you don't know a supplier and they're on the other side of the world, and then you have to do a prepayment of, let's say, $100,000. So in that case, they really like to have an independent party where they who take care of everything and who can provide that guarantee.
So I think this this guarantee is great. I think that's the key that really gives give you the platform the advantage, and it helps the parties to trust each other, the buyers to trust and initiate the deal. Because otherwise you would have probably to do a lot of audits on site and build trust gradually. And I talked to several people also on this podcast that said that especially in China, finding the right supplier takes a lot of time, of time. And it's not just a click of a button. You really need to build trust, which can take a lot of time. So if something like this, when you have the guarantee in the middle, mediator that removes this fear that the deal breaks or whatever, so I think it's quite helpful. So it's nice.
The good thing about China is that they are actually quite used to work with platforms. They have like Alibaba. And they're also selling raw materials through Alibaba. So that was quite funny that in the beginning they were, it was not new to them using a platform for doing business. So especially in the beginning, we had a lot of suppliers from China who were having orders compared to now. Now we see that also in the more Western countries, they're starting to think more digital than a couple of years ago. That's something that we really see that's changing, which I think that's a good thing because, I think that the market should have
the market and the pharma as itself. So what is so you worked a lot at Pharma. So what was your background that brought you for this the idea and the understanding?
Well, I started during my study in the Cleanroom, doing the repacking thing. So that company bought APIs in, let's say, in larger quantities, and then in the Cleanroom they analyzed it and repacked it in smaller quantities. And that was my job there. So with masks and clothes, everything. Doing
all the gowning and then all the all the procedure.
So and then I really wanted to work on the sales department because that was something that I really liked, and then I worked there, but still knew everyone in the Cleanroom. So it was really useful that when we wanted to for a client, if you want to have something really really urgent, then I could just call my friends in the Cleanroom and arrange things. So then, and after the sales department, I started the marketing department within the company. Also thinking about, how can we promote our products? How can we reach clients who are searching for our products? And also there you saw that everything was really traditional. So sales channels were everything was by email, of course. And if you wanted to promote things, and you go to an exhibition. So and online there was not really a place where you can just tell everybody, okay, we have this product, we have these certificates. So that was also why we thought, okay, why do you have it in all markets, like movies, music, planes, just everywhere except for the pharma market. So that was actually my background. So I went on different departments within the company.
So that way you know what is needed, what is required a bit, and the connection and the understanding. So you were the co-founder. So you did it with some colleague from your old company.
Yeah,
and you said,
together with Bart and with Martin, we founded the company in 2016. In the beginning, we just wanted to find out, is there really, are people really looking for this kind of platform? And then after some testing, we really found out that people were urgently looking for
something like that.
Yeah, especially the buyer side. Like, usually when you start a company, then you have to focus on how do you get clients, how do you get people who want to buy your product. In our case, it was the opposite. In the beginning, we saw lots of people were searching on our platform, send inquiries, and then we have to talk a lot with suppliers, because, and it's not strange, because suppliers are not used to, we're not used to work with platforms. And you can say
so in Europe. So you say that in China they do, but I mean Europe or Western world less.
So first they are used to work with email, so this is a little bit different. But also, pharmaceutical companies are quite large. So if you're working with within a company with 20,000 employees, there are also really strict procedures. So everything what's new, you need to discuss about it. You need to change the procedures. So it really takes a lot of time. But especially since, I think, 1.5 years, we saw that was really changing. And also we heard a lot from suppliers that they started to discover what's going on online. Are we missing something over there? And especially during the Corona crisis, it changed way faster. So we are used to that everything is going really slow, or let's say slower than we would like things are going. But especially now, since the coronavirus, we saw that things were going actually quite fast.
So no meetings, no travel. So people need to find the material, because probably a lot of supply chains are disrupted. So they quickly need a secondary supplier, and then let's what's better than Google? Probably that's how they find you at first.
Well, from the buyer side, and there were several reasons why they found us. First, because there were lockdowns. So lockdown in India, lockdown in China. So people were forced to change supplier, and then they found us. Second is because all pharmaceutical companies didn't want to go out of stock. So they bought a lot of material from their supplier, and all the suppliers had shortages on a lot of products. Actually, same as what you saw in supermarkets everywhere with the toilet paper.
So, just wanted to say it. So what was the toilet paper or the raw materials or APIs?
It was definitely hydroxychloroquine, but also...
Of course. Thank you, Trump.
Yeah, but also some alcohol, like disinfecting stuff. Yeah. That helped us a lot because buyers were urgently looking.
Did it help also a lot of maybe smaller companies that usually are not that well known and are not that approached that often? So probably big pharmas approach the big players.
And that's also almost all large pharma companies are using our platform. But the reason why we started it was also to help like the smaller companies, like the local pharmacist who want to do a compound for a patient, or the smaller companies focusing on one or two products. So we really wanted to help everyone everywhere in the world. And we also saw a lot of small companies who were searching for products. And we also helped a lot of them finding a qualified supplier.
Yeah. So most of your suppliers are from overseas, Asia, or you already have suppliers all over?
Yeah, all over actually, but most of them are from India and China. But we also have all serious suppliers within Europe, North and South America. So I'm quite confident to say that we have all relevant, especially manufacturers. Yeah.
And so you specialize on raw materials, APIs. Do you also have gowning suppliers, Cleanroom equipment?
No. We do get some requests sometimes, especially for finished dosage formulations, but that's our choice to focus only on the raw materials. And equipment and packages, we don't get a lot of requests for that, but that's also because they can't find the products on our website.
So you mentioned that it's really difficult to work with emails, and the platform makes it easier. So as you said, there are a lot of departments that are usually involved in the qualification and the buying. So how does it work? Can several people from the same company log in and see the same information and I don't know, just type in comments?
Yeah, there is a there's a possibility on our platform to invite your colleagues, so you can share your account with several colleagues. Sometimes we see that there's a purchase department involved, a sales department, a pharmacist, financial department. So that's possible, or just a lot of different sales offices is also possible. But on one side, we are a really innovative platform, but on the other side, we really try to understand what does our clients want. It doesn't mean always that you have to be really innovative. Sometimes it's better to adapt the way he likes to work than that we really force everybody that they have to deal with the way we want to work. So there are a lot of companies who prefer to deal with the email. So then we said, okay, let's help them and find a way that they can continue using their email while they still have the benefits of the platform. So we are doing also, we also provide that kind of solutions. I really believe that that's the challenge, that you have to find a balance. On one side, what is more efficient, and on the other side, what's the way people prefer to work, because otherwise it doesn't work at all.
Yeah. So you need it first that so it should be with small steps. Just get used to working with platforms, trusting other players in the market and the other services. So in online business and the websites and whatever, there are platforms and services for every little thing. what you think. Even the things you don't realize that you needed it, but if you Google it, there is somebody who delivers this plugin or this service. So it's great that it would be also for pharma to help with it. So what do you think is the next step, the future? Where is the development and the integration and etc.?
Well, first, I think that the future, if you have to say the next 10 years, I think more companies will start to think digital, not only by using a platform like Pharmaoffer, but also start working more digital, using less paper, communicate more digital, because there are also a lot of benefits of our really regulated markets. On one side, it's making things slower and more traditional, but on the other side, it's really well validated. So, for example, with a certificate of suitability, if we provide that the information that someone has that certificate available, then you can be quite sure that it's available. Still, it's your responsibility to do the entire validation of the supplier, but still. And I think that the pharma market is really ready to adapt some innovation. I'm not saying that because I want it because of Pharmaoffer, but I really see that people within the companies are getting younger. They, millennials are also people who are thinking a little bit different. If you say to one of them, it's not possible, then you're probably not there yet, and they will think, oh, is it really not possible? And then they'll do their own research, and then that's also how we get a lot of people on our platform. It's not only purchasers and sales department. We get a lot of quality department people on our platform who start searching it and then forward it to their purchase department. Yeah.
So probably also younger people that say, okay, let's do it smart, not hard, right?
Yeah.
So I remember that when I had to do, when I work at Pharma, also in quality control, sometimes I had to do a lot of manual stuff also in the lab that you needed just do labor with Excel. So I said, okay, I'm not crazy to do it. Let me find some automated way, some program, or even program it yourself, just to do it quicker and smarter and more innovative. So that's how I find, because I also know from my experience, sometimes you sit with big companies in the meetings and you say, okay, the software, we have a problem with the software. It doesn't conform. It does something in SAP or something like this. It doesn't work correctly, and we need to do a lot. We have a lot of deviations, a lot of problems. We must change it. And then somebody says, yeah, but then I need to go to the corporate. You have this meeting only once per 6 months, and then I sit there and everybody, and there is enough that somebody says no, then it crumbles, so I don't want to start with it. So it happens also like this that there is a lot of pressure, and people just don't want to push and don't want to take the extra mile just to make stuff more efficient, and it really must change.
And I think that the pharma world can really learn a lot from like the Silicon Valley companies. Of course, we have a lot of procedures, and that's important, and everything should be done to have safe medicines, of course. But that doesn't mean that everything has to be really slow and discussed with a lot of people, and that it take months before you do something new. If you compare it, for example, with Google or Facebook, they are also large companies, and if they do something new and it doesn't work out, everyone will notice. So they also have some important procedures. but with a more agile way of working, that you can work within small groups, do a sprint, build something new, and yeah, if more groups within the company are doing and working like that, I think it will be a huge benefit to the entire pharma industry. Mm-hmm. And you also see now that also banks, who are also traditional companies, they also start to work more agile. So I think the pharmaceutical industry will come as well.
Yeah. So of course, it always comes to that people don't want to do too many changes because it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources to do the changes, to do the risk. But I think it also because there are a lot of people who just don't like to change. There is not enough champions that push the change. Mm-hmm. And I believe that if the people in pharma take the more risk-based approach, really, and they could do more changes. For example, let's take, for example, the medical device industry. Mm-hmm. So it's there are a lot of high tech there, a lot of medical devices that are new to the market. For example, devices that you don't need to go to the doctor. I know I have a good friend that works in such a company, and he develops those machines that do everything, the blood pressure, and there is a camera, and the checking blood, and so on. And the doctor sees everything, and they work with a collaboration. And but there are even devices that are much more critical. Mm-hmm. But those devices, especially the implanted ones, you cannot test it on people because you cannot just implant something and check if it works. So they just work with a lot of statistics.
Yeah.
And they just check it, and if it works, great. So as you said, just do sprints, do little groups that try to develop something, see if it works, something, let's call it offline, like outside the process, that it doesn't go to the market. Check it, see how it works with small batches, try this software, try that software.
Exactly. Just make sure that the process is safe.
Yeah.
Take the time you need, but just check where you can win some time. Just by embracing some new tools. There are a lot of really handy tools. We make use of about maybe 20 websites with some awesome services that we use to do what we are doing every day.
Mm-hmm. So just combine great services that other platforms provide.
But I also do see a lot of change in the pharmaceutical market is going on. So I also see already that people are starting to work more efficient, more with new tools. And also we see it also on Pharmaoffer, that we see more people who are using our platform. And that's already a new way of working. So I see that the change has started already.
Yeah.
And that's
so I think
something
it starts from one platform, and then people try, they trust it in then other platforms that say, okay, they did a great job. Let's maybe we need also to improve this aspect. Let's do it. Let's make it easier.
Yeah.
So when I think about some of the EQMS there, the quality management systems, some of them are so complicated, so not user friendly. And I think you can do much more, much better, and it will take time. And there must be some players that come and do it.
Yeah,
and say, okay,
let's
do it easier.
That's always an ongoing process. Like, being a user-friendly platform doesn't mean that we are now finished and that we can sit back. And the way we really like to think here at Pharmaoffer, that when we see that a user on our platform is doing something wrong, then we really see it as that's our problem. That's not stupid from their side, or if they just don't know how to translate the product, that's our problem. So then we just have to add a translation, or if they don't click on the right button, or then that's our problem. So
design
that's
failure and etc. And then you need to think, okay, we need to fix it so next time it's smoother, because the user is the king here, and it should be as smoother as possible. And quite like the first iPhone, so you never used a touch screen, but when you used it for the first time, it was just natural.
At so iPhone it was natural. But so, if you compare it with now, then it's not user friendly at all, possibly. So just we try to to make it better every day. That's something that we're working on a lot, and we invest a lot in our development of the platform. And it's also quite complicated because it's we are not just a web shop where you can buy an API and then it will be delivered the next day. We really understand how the process works, and that sometimes it takes months, and people want to exchange documents, they want to have a sample, they want to they need a permit, for example. So it's a quite complicated process, and then we just to try to make that process as easy as possible for both parties.
Okay. Can you rate suppliers?
Not yet. We always check if both parties are happy with the order procedure, but that's definitely something that we are working on. Right now, we offer the possibility that you can see what the average response time is of a supplier. So then you can check if you want to contact someone who will reply within 4 hours or someone within a couple of days. So that says something about the difference also between the service of the supplier.
Yeah. So rating is in this area, it's a bit delicate, but probably still we are used to it in its service. So every company would like to be the best and to rank highest. So it's like it's really simple. So I don't know how in this conservative environment this would work. We
have a system that the more orders you do on our platform, the more points you get. It's like
is a buyer or the supplier?
Both.
Okay.
And suppliers with the most points, they will be on top of the result page.
Okay.
So,
but does it make sense in this? But it doesn't mean that he's the best. So he was lucky to be found maybe first and to be ordinary, but it doesn't mean that he's the best. So isn't there a bit of bias because people think they buy the most from them, so they don't continue searching?
Yeah, well, we just want to be transparent about everything. So also what I'm just saying about the position, that's something that you find on our website. But to do an order on our platform means that you are also successfully validated by us. So we validate the buyer and the supplier. So if the supplier says we have a GMP certificate, we check if it's valid or if it's photoshopped. We also check financial details, like if we don't want any money laundering on our platform. So people who are doing orders on our platform, they are validated. So maybe they are just reliable, and they also reply quick, and they also send quick price offers. So yeah, they're on top, because the chance on a successful order is higher with them than to a supplier who is always slow with replying to messages.
Yeah, I just think that it would be really cool to have some supplier reviews. So the Pharma yearly does supplier review, so it's a part of the procedures. And
Yeah.
usually rank them in quality, how many deviations there was with their product, damaged good, the story. And from the customer point of view and so on. So it could be really cool if it could be also done with synchronization with your systems.
Yeah. Well, that's a great idea that we can discover. We just want to build our database every time better and better. And if this kind of information is relevant to our buyers,
because I think it would be super relevant. Because so let's say when you alone do this, it takes you several years to really know how good the supplier is from the quality point of view, how good he responds to problems that you discuss with them, to deviations, to returns. And let's say 10 companies or 120 companies do one review. For example, if your platform provides a specific questionnaire or something, and it goes and then let's say the company gets the report too, the buyer gets the report and you get the report, and you have a lot of information. So I think it would be amazing for all the parties, because let's say part of the work is already done, because you see how they're ranking on all this before you buy, and it's a motivation for the suppliers to do a better job.
Yeah. Good one. We'll dive into that. Yeah.
Cool. Happy to help. That's great.
Yeah. But coming back to you asked me what my opinion is on the future of pharma and innovation, but how do you look into that? What's your opinion about it?
So I believe it's also the agility and the digitalization. So I believe that a lot of pharma companies still work a lot with paper. As you said, many switch to other procedures, but I know for a fact that many companies still are completely paper-based, and many of them have really separate systems that don't harmonize with each other. And it's a big problem, because if you have one system that does logistic, one system that handles deviation, supply chain, another system that does change control, another that audits and qualification, but they don't come together, and you miss so much data, so much statistic, and it's a lot of time that is wasted for people to gather the information, and so much information that is getting lost because the right people don't see it. And I believe that the future are systems that really combine everything in one platform, or let it be different companies. But do you know Zapier? Zapier, there is this, for example, automation tool in WordPress, and there are a lot of tools that just leave it alone. For example, you have many companies that allow harmonization with completely third-party tools. Like banking with accounting softwares, and emails with automation tools. So I think that companies should at some point start opening their APIs, so the user interfaces, not the APIs in the anti-pharmaceutical ingredient. So from the iTech point, so opening their software for third-party use, and just allow people to combine the experience, and harmonize with different companies. So I think that there is a lot of competition from different companies, and they try to be better, but maybe the solution is instead of one company that maybe does one solution great, just try to work better with each other, and harmonize the systems somehow.
I totally agree.
Because of course it's difficult, when you have also a platform, and let's say you have a platform where you have Facebook. So Facebook just took everything by storm. And now that the Google Plus came
Mhm.
out, it was a disaster because nobody's good. But when you invested so much in one platform, you're not gonna move.
Mhm.
So that's why also people are really reluctant to change platforms, so a quality management system and so on, because it's quite difficult. So it's understandable.
Yeah.
But companies, other companies, like also competitor must understand that they, if they want to be good and they provide good services, they need to think also about the transfer of data from one platform to another, or harmonization.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think that should be like the future. Everything, it should be completely paperless, and audit trail, everything digitalized, all the platforms connected to the production and to all to the other business units.
Hire more IT people.
And let them so of course it's a conservative environment with a lot of regulations, but also banks, banks even more. Although it's there is not a lot of impact on human life, but they're really they have really strong regulations, but they, as you said, they became much more agile, and they give a really great user experience right now.
And it's not that you have to use innovative or digital tools just to be innovative. It's just that when you can really win something, you can really come up with new medicines easier, or increase the trial period. There's a lot to win nowadays just by adopting this.
No, but I think if we are going to the research and development phase, so I think we are almost there for completely AI driven research. So I know there are companies that are working on some amazing stuff, that they can do models, and they can do they can do some simulations in like 1 hour, what it usually would take you years. So it usually takes from like 10,000 molecules, only one becomes a drug. But if you do so much simulation, so you could increase this number by tenfold.
Definitely, that's what I mean.
So it would be amazing. So instead of one drug for 10 years, you could have thousands of drugs in a few years. So I'm really looking forward for this time, and I'm really happy, really, to live in this time where the technology moves so quick.
It's interesting to see what will come.
For sure. So with also with SpaceX, I'm really excited. Really. So I really love. It's not really connected to our really this topic, but I really love Elon Musk, because he's a man who pushes his ideas. And if he says, "I want to be on on Mars," he will be on Mars. If he wanted electrical cars, he became CEO of electrical cars, and so on. So I think we need a few such people also in
more
pharma.
Elon Musks in the pharma.
So you're already a good start.
But I also think that the pharma world is really interesting. But talking about the content, about if you want to know more about pharma topics, it is really hard to find information which is written for normal people. So if we want to have more visionaries within the pharma world, it's also good to communicate within more normal language.
Make it simple, make people like it, love it, make interest. So this is one of the reasons why I started doing my earlier videos, because I've seen that there is nothing on YouTube. I want to go to YouTube to learn about pharma. There is none. There are some really old, boring presentations. If you want to learn how to edit videos. You have 1,000 videos. So basically, you can become an expert on everything, but not in pharma.
Yeah.
I think you wanna make rockets. You can go to YouTube and you will learn how to make rockets.
Yeah.
But how to be to do and to be good in GMP or stuff like this, it's really in a shortage. And it is one of the things that I'm really trying to change, and it's something that will change with the training programs that Lister will be offering soon, and it will be amazing.
Good one. Yeah. And I hope more people will do it. Just share your knowledge on video or blogs or whatever in a simple language.
Yeah, and you know, it started, and it's amazing because when I wanted to started to do these YouTube videos, and there was almost nothing, and I see that people are starting to do it, and a lot of on LinkedIn, and there are starting to be podcasts, and some people also started doing podcasts because they said, "Oh, you inspired us." And we also started doing podcasts. I'm really excited about it. That so I got inspired by other people, and if other people are inspired with what I'm doing, I'm really happy. And it's really funny to get, because sometimes people write me and say, "Oh, it's great that you're doing a podcast. I really also wanted to do it, but you did it already." So I'm all saying, great, do it also.
Yeah.
You know, it's just do it on the things that you find it important. There cannot be enough of this content.
No, and it's easy to have a platform of sharing your videos or blogs with YouTube or LinkedIn.
Yeah, so just share the information. There are many people that started doing it. Also, some people that I did some podcasts with them that release really great videos and do the podcast. And I find it really cool that people share the information, because it's really hard to get. And people, I find it that in this industry, if you want to get good information, you need to pay a lot of money. And people keep, because they see knowledge as power, and they just don't want to release it for free.
Yeah.
But I think it needs to change a bit, and people need to educate each other in the world, because each company has a bit different regulations and a bit different understanding and different cultures in the world. That's why I'm doing also my podcast with people from all over the world, because I want to hear and share the information.
I also believe that if you share your knowledge, it will definitely pay you back once. Just sitting on your knowledge and keeping it for yourself is not the way to build new things, to help other people. So just do it.
And I think that the people that do it and share it, I think they get much more exposure, and they get noticed. So I know that people who did the podcast with me, they were really happy, and they told me they were approached by so many people, and that said that they found their talk great. They brought them clients, and that's just because they shared their knowledge. So you cannot just sit on your lap and wait for a contract. Just show what you know, share it, because the knowledge is not enough. The knowledge, I don't remember who said it. So the knowledge is not power unless you use it. So you can know it, but unless you act on it, it doesn't bring anything. So only if you act on it. And if you share your knowledge, it doesn't mean that everybody would directly act on it and just steal your bread. They would say, okay, I'll bring you to my company, or I'll take your service, so you do the heavy lifting, because I know I understand your ideas. So, Ammar, I find your product great, innovative, and I wish you good luck in the future, and I'm grateful that there are people like you in this industry that push it to innovation. So thank you for that, and thank you for talking to me and sharing your insights into the industry and telling us about your platform.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, and we will definitely keep in contact. Good luck also with your platform.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope you find it informative and interesting. If you did, consider subscribing so you don't miss new episodes. Stay compliant and see you in the next one.